Hello, Exec. My name is Adam Zawikowski, and as my associate has already informed you, I am here to report on what the survey says. So first of all, we'll navigate away from Mr. Kitty. First of all, you should all have an email right now with this tiny URL. And go ahead and click on that URL, and it should just open up a new tab right away and take you right into the co-op survey that I did. And the way you navigate through the survey is right down here. You just use these little arrows. Okay, page 1. Would you maintain your enrollment at the co-op if we needed to start the year with alternative schedule or format? And this is a pretty straightforward pie chart. You can hover over it and see additional information. And on the right side is the answers that people gave to this question. Please explain any reservations you might have in the space below. Now, why I put these side by side and why this is kind of a cool thing to do right here is that you can click on the pie chart and it'll highlight that field, and on the right you have the reservations of everybody who answered yes. And you can do this for every field on the pie chart. You can look at all the reservations for the people who answered I'm not sure, and look at all the oh, it's kind of being slow right now. We'll let it load. There it goes. You can look at all the comments and reservations from the people who say I would not. Just click somewhere other than the pie chart to get it back to normal, or vice versa. You can just click on a comment, and it's kind of small, but you can see the person that left this comment is in the category, they answered the question, I am not sure. So use that how you like. I thought it was a cool tool. As you're reading comments, you can also know how the person answered the question about maintaining enrollment. Just moving on to some of the products that you guys put forward in the survey. For this one, you guys wanted to know how parents felt about live Zoom classes, and it's about a 50-50 split. You got about 40% which would prefer that, 40% which don't prefer that, and about 20% in the middle here. The only outlier really is that about a quarter of all parents really didn't like the Zoom classes. So, take that for what it's worth. Moving on to live Zoom parent education. You guys wanted to know how people felt about that, and parents responded pretty positively. You got about 45% over here say they would prefer that, but 40% are neutral, and then about 15% who wouldn't prefer that. And then you guys asked about additional online curriculum and activities, which would be available, to the students. Seems like a lot of people really preferred that. You got about 55% who would prefer that, and then about a quarter who are neutral, and about 20% who don't care. The virtual libraries. This was probably the strongest result because you got about 60% who would prefer it. Again, a quarter that are neutral. But, you take that 60% and that quarter, that's 85% of parents who would probably use the virtual libraries. So that was probably your strongest product that you guys could put forward at this point. And then, again, 15%. And if you look back at you got about 20%, 15%, probably all, the same types of parents who there's just a cohort of parents that just don't like online stuff, and that's probably the same people answering that they would not prefer the online products. And finally, for times, on the left side here, you have what time of day would you prefer for child Zoom classes. This was kind of an overwhelming majority, 84%. They do want the mornings. And then over here, what time of day, on the right side, what time of day would you prefer parent meetings? And again, an overwhelming majority, they want them in the evening. So that's pretty straightforward. Review that as you will. And finally, we asked, are there any other issues or concerns that might impact your enrollment this fall? And I didn't associate this with any other questions. I just kind of left them as they are, and read them for what they're worth. Also, you'll notice right over here, you have this funny HTML language. I don't know how it happened, but when I got the data from the survey website, some of the code didn't read properly. I could have had the time to go in and fix it, but I just didn't. So whenever you see this HTML code in one of the comments, I think it's just supposed to be an apostrophe. I don't know why I put that in there instead. And that's what the survey says. Thank you for your time. I hope this helps.